I want to talk a moment about a communication that I just had with Laura Northrop Wilson. And basically, it goes like this: Robert and Laura are Richard Northrop's uh, kids. Laura, I call her Lori, is Lori Northrop Wilson. She was born in Dowagiac, and she is the daughter of Richard Northrop. He's the man that I took care of. She's trying to lie and say that I denied her access to Richard Northrop when he was alive, and that's just simply not true. Richard Northrop made that decision, not Tina Michelle. And so for them to lash out at me and to be mad at me because they didn't get what they wanted from their dad is not the answer. Using my daughter and allowing others to use my daughter because they are angry because they didn't get what they wanted is really, really sad. And it's a sad reality of what goes on within the system. You have people using children in order to lash out at others. Now, I'm going to say this again. Betty St. Cyr lied about being related to me. She is not. We don't have any parents that were in common, not legally or biologically. And the same goes for Robert Dole, or they call him Robbie. I still tried to be cool with them because my mother was married to Robert Dole's legal father. According to Elizabeth St. Cyr, Fred is not his dad, but that's beside the point. They're mad because I tell the truth and because I get the facts out there. Don't be angry at me for being the messenger. Be mad at the people that are not telling the truth. Lori, I'm not the one who kept Richard from you, your dad. And the way you went about things, frankly, it really ticked him and me off. Rather than come to us and directly, Lori and Robert Wilson went to the doctors and very scurvily found out when Richard's appointment was, and they bum rushed him in the parking lot. First of all, it's against client confidentiality for them to even gain access to his appointment times. So Richard was really ticked off that Laura and Robert did this. Um, it's against the law. If they would have just come to me, actually, I was on their side and I didn't think it was right that Richard wouldn't talk to them. But they don't want to hear my side. All they want to hear is what they want to hear. On top of that, they're not listening to the fact that Uncle Richard was denied medical care wrongfully. He financially qualified for Medicaid and was denied the service, which denied him access to the program we were trying to get him into, which is PACE. I think if he would have been involved in that program, he would be alive today. And they really do have a wrongful death suit against the state of Michigan, if you think about it, as well, because they denied me medical attention also because they were just being nasty. And I have to say this, and I'm not talking about all of Department of Health and Human Services. I'm talking about Levita Brookins specifically, who was cousins to Ronald Lee's actual legal wife. So for these guys to, and all of them grew up together. Lori Northrop Wilson grew up with Sharmika. So did Elizabeth St. Cyr, Robert Dole. All these guys grew up together. They went after me. I didn't keep them from Richard Northrop. They chose not to come around, and they need to be honest about it because lying to people, that's defamation. When are they going to take responsibility for their actions? They sit up here and call me a drama queen, but these are the guys that are fueling the fire. And when I have to come forth and tell the truth about the situation, that's really sad. As far as Robert Dole goes, I have my birth certificate, which verifies that him and I are there's no connection there. So there was no actual reason for him to get involved and to try to take my daughter. She never had permission to leave the state. So if she is in Missouri, it's kidnapping. On top of that, I have audio evidence verifying that Robert had promised he would return my daughter, and he still has yet to do that. That violates any agreement that he would have with the state because he made an agreement with me and he did it in front of law enforcement at the courthouse. So I have audio recording of that along with other evidence to verify that Robert Dole is not related to us and lied to the courts. So that's on him. For these guys to get mean and nasty to me because they didn't get their way with Richard Northrup, he's the one that told CPS that he didn't want anything to do with them. I tried to talk to Richard and tried to tell him, hey, that's not okay for you to do that, especially when he had grandkids. So to put my daughter in the middle of that, that's just wrong. And it's really a sad shame. I wish that these guys would stop behaving the way that they are, because they're getting mad at the truth, and it's making me feel like they're using my daughter and exploiting her in order to hurt me and my son, when all we did was try to just take care of Uncle Richard and not be in the middle. How about the fact that my uncle was medical care, and Robert Wilson and Lori would rather threaten people on the phone, and I've got the audio evidence to verify that they did that, rather than come forward and try to get us to a hospital. Because at the time I had a head injury and couldn't drive, and if they would have stopped threatening people on the phone and talked to them long enough, they would have found that out. But they got so mad and angry at me for something that wasn't even my doing. How about you guys take responsibility and own up to the fact that you didn't do things correctly? You were bitter and mean and nasty about things. And for that reason, now you've put my daughter in the middle of stuff. And that's wrong. That's one of the examples that's wrong with the system today, is it you allows people to vindictively use people's children in order to hurt each other. And we need to do everything we can to make that stop. What's even sadder is that, again, they have a libel lawsuit against the state of Michigan, and they're so busy bickering and arguing and not telling the truth that they're not getting anything done that way, and the time limit's lapsing on that, and that's awfully selfish of them, not me. Because, I'm not the one who stood to gain from that. I have the control over it, but I'm not the one, because of the power of attorney, but I'm not the one who stood to gain from that. It's really sad, and it's something that we need to address people directly about, instead of sitting here going back and backbiting and lying and stabbing each other in the back. It's time for real change, people, with God's love. God bless America. Have a blessed day. And back the badge.